This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I'm sheltering in place with Denise Imbesi, the Dr. Fauci of the music side of the industry. Welcome to the Halo Show in the middle of COVID.
Thank you, Pete. Well, we're not really sheltering together, but
I mean, we're sheltering remotely.
Ideas.
Yeah. We're zooming in place.
We're zooming
in place. So why don't
nice
you've been likewise? You've been in the industry for quite some time and somewhat of a pioneer on the music side of the business, which I think is becoming more and more relevant as people are moving towards digital. So why don't you give your background, and then you and I could talk about best practices and how your company solves a lot of the frustrations that most of our clients are currently facing.
Sure. So my name is Denise Imbesi, CEO of Muscle Mixes. I founded the company in 1988, back when we were wearing leg warmers, and we were selling cassettes at the time. We were pioneers because nobody was doing it legally, I should say, at the time. So we went from cassettes to CDs to downloads, and now, of course, to a streaming app, because that's how people consume music today. And as of recently, we've been spending a large amount of our time providing royalty-free music for the COVID situation for virtual classes. And like I said, I'm the Dr. Fauci of music licensing because I have answered as many questions I possibly could about it. I'm not an attorney. I always give that disclaimer, but I know a good deal about it. And if I don't know it, I'll tell you who you can go to find out.
Got it. So as you see a lot of the proliferation in boutique studios and health clubs trying to create an online digital presence, when I used to own some businesses that had studio-based operations, we always had a music license that we paid on a per studio basis, and franchisors were negotiating those deals for franchisees, which allowed you to play whatever songs that you wanted to inside of the club or studio. So how has that evolved from a legal use standpoint, and what percentage of fitness studio or anybody that's doing digital online is actually abiding by the actual rules?
That's a good question. So there's one thing that a lot of people don't understand the way the music licensing works. And the reason is because the industry makes it very difficult. So if you are ignorant, it's not your fault. The ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, the pros who are the governing bodies for music publishing in the United States. And everything I talk about today will be mostly for the USA because it is different in different countries. So I thought we should focus on the USA. To answer your question, the licensing that clubs have to pay for music is not that different than it was back when, they still pay a flat fee somewhere in the hundreds, depending on how big the company is, how big the chain is. Per year, you pay a blanket license and you can play anything you want. That's called a public performance license.
When you say hundreds, you're talking about hundreds of dollars per month or per year?
Per year. And it depends. If you're 24-hour fitness, it's going to be maybe that amount per club, per location. So it's not that expensive. When it goes to video, everything changes because the music industry set it up to be quite expensive. And that originated because of the film industry. They weren't thinking of teaching virtually in your bedroom when they came up with those music licensing. I mean, mostly it was, they were, hey, if you're going to put a song, there are whole departments, music supervisors, departments that acquire music licensing and clear songs just for films. So that's why when it goes to video, the type of license changes. You go from a public performance license to what's called the synchronization license, or also called the digital license, depending on how you're using it. So it's more expensive. You have to go through more hoops. You have to negotiate, whereas ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC have a set rate that they charge, depending on square footage, depending on the people that go through the clubs. When it goes on video, you have to negotiate each price. So that's why it's very, very cost prohibitive and time consuming as well. So,
So when you take a look at Peloton, they ended up going public and then had a pretty sizable liability on their balance sheet related to music copyright infringement. I don't recall what the actual dollar amount. I thought it was something like 50 or
300 million.
300 million. And they paid out 300?
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know the exact amount, but they've settled. We don't know the exact amount. They don't publish
Gotcha.
it.
So I don't know anybody over there directly, so I don't know if they, were pleading as to take a word from what you stated before, ignorance, which isn't really a good legal defense rationale. However, how much does it cost them in general to run that type of network? Is it on a per song basis? Is it on a replay basis? And then the follow-up question there is, obviously there's going to be an audit associated with that on behalf of the music industry. So to run digital campaigns or become a digital player, this is something that from a compliance standpoint is going to be really important, because if you get a liability anywhere north of, six figures, the average studio or health club operator is done.
That's right. I'm not so sure what Peloton did. And I tried to look that up once. Did they know going in? Did they do it? Yeah, who knows? So the overriding rule of thumb is if you're using somebody else's copywritten work, you must get permission, period, for whatever use. That's really the rule of thumb. Now, they did it. I knew they were doing it at the beginning. Did they know? I don't know. But to answer your question, I don't know how much they paid, but I can tell you they had to probably acquire a synchronization license for both the music artist and label and the publisher. I don't know how much you know about music, but music songs in general are split up in half. It's half owned by the music publisher / writer, half owned by the record label / artist. There are exceptions to every rule, but that's in general how it works. So if you sat, Pete, and you wrote a song on your guitar or something, and and David wrote the lyrics, now you guys have a song. Well, you don't want to sit around, you don't want to go around and collect royalties, so you hire a publisher to do that work for you. On the other side, now you have to go perform it. Well, you're going to hire Lady Gaga to sing it for you, and Lady Gaga's record label is Warner Brothers, let's say. So they're going to market it. So you look at the record label as the marketing company, and look at the publisher as the accounting company. That's kind of how I look at it. But they're completely different licenses. With a synchronization, you have to get permission for both. So the label could say yes, but the publisher could say no, or vice versa. Or the publisher can have a certain price, but the label can have a different price. But you're usually paying a royalty. That's why I was talking about royalty free. So you almost always pay a royalty per play or per stream in the case of probably Peloton. And usually streaming is about a penny to 3 cents. It really depends on what you negotiate. And then you almost always pay in advance. So you'll pay let's say $1,000 per song advance, I guess, against, and I can't do the math that quick, X number of streams of a rate of 3 cents each. Does that make sense? So let's just say you're paying an advance of $1,000 for every song. You got 12 songs, that's $12,000. You see how it quickly went up to $300 million.
Yeah. So
that's how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 cents a song per user.
Per stream.
Right. So if I'm on my SoulCycle bike, I'm not bragging. I just got one, but I just announced it.
Did you?
Breaking news to the world. Yeah, I just got it. So if I'm doing a 45-minute video on SoulCycle, and there's, let's say 8 songs. So that's costing them 24 cents based on your...
Probably. I mean,
Gotcha.
that's just me giving a ballpark.
Yeah, sure.
You have to pay the advance because they don't know you. They assume they're never going to see you again.
Right.
So
but if that's the case,
to the label, advance to the publisher.
So if that's the case, then if I'm paying $40 a month to SoulCycle, if the math works out the way you're saying, and they haven't cut like some kind of master deal, it's costing them $6.24 or $6, let's say, to provide me. So their cost of goods sold on providing my license, like 15. Let's see. So it's about 15% of the subscription fee is going towards the music licensing. Okay, so that's a good benchmark because
that's just for one playlist, though. That's just one playlist, one time.
Right. Yeah. That's if I do 30, if I work out every day, 30 days, then it's going to cost me $750 or something.
There you go.
Okay, it's because I most of the documents that I've seen related to people putting together business plans,
Yeah.
for digital, they have not fully appreciated or recognized what that cost, the magnitude of that cost.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Right.
It's just so. I mean, even we've worked with Beachbody, we work with Leslie Sansone, we work with big names. Even they don't license the original art songs by the original artist because it's just so expensive. They will sometimes, here and there, they'll do a hybrid, but the popular songs are just the songs that you have to go to the original artist, negotiate a deal for video is very expensive. The reason why we could sell music, that's a whole different license. We pay a license to sell music. We sell, and we pay a mechanical license. That's a set rate by the government. You don't have to negotiate. It's easy. But when it goes to video, it gets complicated. So that's why royalty-free music is what we recommend the safest way to go, because you don't have to worry about it. You pay one price to a company, a very low price typically, and you're set. You don't have to worry about it. Of course, you don't have the popular songs. You don't have Bruno Mars and the people that, the songs you want to hear. So
right.
It's complicated.
So as you advise clients on going digital, what is your suite of, a la carte menu that people can choose from?
So we, since COVID, we've been making deals because we were trying to help the industry out a bit. Typically, the best way to go with us is to pay $12.95 a month per either instructor, or if the club wants to buy a certain number of memberships for the instructor, 10 instructors, let's say, or just for their gym. $12.95 a month, $12.95 a month. We have an app, and we've been feeding all our royalty-free music onto the app since COVID for the last 3 months. So they can use any royalty-free song that's on the app. And the cool thing is they can actually mix it on the app. They can create the playlist. They can put them in the order that they want, or they could play some of our premixes, all unlimited and no extra price. So that's so inexpensive. We've just done that. And they can play that on YouTube, Facebook, live stream. If they are, and that's usually what the clubs are doing. Now, if they press record and they want to save it and put it on a video on demand situation, or, on their own homepage where they do downloads or something. Most people are doing video on demand. We've been working out some different deals on that as well. And it just really depends on the usage. But, again, it'd probably be maybe a couple $100 a month, and they're all set for everything.
Got it. And what
has to be negotiated depending on
gotcha. And what is some of the like one of our investments is in a company called Greco Fitness up in Canada. And what they've done is they, about 4 weeks ago, pivoted to go online, bought a nice camera, have been doing workouts. And the way they have the workout set up, I think, to get around the music and also not to block the voice of the instructor, was to provide SoundCloud playlists that they recommend and that they've curated for their clients to listen to on a separate speaker. So they're doing the workout. I've done it a couple of times now, and I'm hearing the instructor clearly from my laptop, and I'm hearing my music behind me on my iPhone, and that seems to be working out pretty well. But I would think as it gets more sophisticated, you don't want to necessarily inconvenience your customer or your member on, okay, I got to go here to get my video. I got to go here to get my music. I got to hook up my speaker. So do you see the music industry evolving to accommodate us? Or do you see the music industry saying, hey, now I've got a bigger opportunity to go and gouge some more revenue?
Well, that's a very good question, and we'll have to see what happens. I've actually been speaking to my attorney about that, and I've also spoken to ASCAP about it. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be the latter. I think they are going to not gouge us, but I think they're going to try to make as much money as they can. They're not very flexible, the labels and the public. It's really tough to do business with them and make change. They have made some recent changes, but not as much to video that I'm aware of. I know that you can go to ASCAP and BMI and acquire a digital rights license for live streaming. but it only limits to Facebook and YouTube, so that wouldn't accommodate you. I think what Greco is doing is a great idea. I don't know if it solves all the problems, because if a routine is on beat, has to be on beat, that's going to be a problem. Definitely the inconvenience, and it's not going to feel as natural, I don't think. If it's depending on what they're doing. If they're just doing sort of a Tabata workout or something that, the music is really insignificant, it's just there in the background, maybe it won't matter. But, there's an energy that music provides, and you see it in the instructor's face. And if they're not hearing it at the same time, I don't know, I feel like there might be some disadvantages to that. But I have heard that as a solution. People are doing what they can do, at this point.
Right.
I know that go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, we as music companies, we're saying we got to increase our royalty-free music. And I've made a promise to everybody in the industry that we are going to put out kick butt music as best as we can. Our goal is to say our music is as good. I mean, of course, it's not going to be, the original, the popular songs, but it's so good that I almost don't even care that it's not a popular song. That's our goal. So.
Well, why don't we now pull the curtain away and tell people that you are a DJ, and you've been a DJ for a long time. So why don't you come out and just tell everyone now?
Me up?
Hey, we do some good research here. So yeah, so
what'd you find out there, Dave?
Just come clean, Denise, and tell us that you are the royalty-free provider.
I wouldn't go that crazy.
Okay.
I did start out as a DJ, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So talk about how people create, or how you could help them commission royalty-free to basically usurp this entire legal compliance and the quality of that work, and what the risks might be to doing that.
Yes, I would not, if it was me, and I know that if I'm going to go live stream and that's it, one and done, probably be okay. I mean, even ASCAP told me that on the phone. They're like, you know what, don't worry about it right now. But if you're going to make a business out of it and you want to have those replay and record it, do not. I highly recommend against taking any chances with using any music that you have not gotten permission to use. It's just going to get you in trouble down the road, and you don't need that liability. So if you type in royalty-free music, not all royalty-free is created equal. You can type that into Google. But in general, it means that there's one owner. So if there's one owner, you just negotiate with who that one owner is. In our case, we own all the music that is royalty-free. We own it top to bottom. Our main business, by the way, Muscle Mix, is we produce covers, re-records of popular songs. Okay, so we don't own that 100%. The royalty-free music we own is music that we own 100%. We have full authority of how to license it out. So it takes care of the sleeping at night. You don't have to worry about anybody coming after you later to say, this and that, that, oh my goodness, why'd you do that? You just don't want to take that risk, I don't think, as a business. And also, I know that it's tempting, because believe me, I love the great music that's out there. And then the other thing is, like you said, Pete, a lot of the music is sort of, it interferes sometimes if there's too much vocals on a video anyway. They're there for you, not for your music. I mean, you're selling you're selling the instructor, you're selling the workout, so the music becomes secondary. I had our local gym, they started out on Facebook group using popular music, and they immediately Facebook's really popular for they're shutting down people immediately. They're just muted out, or they'll take the whole video down. And they came to me and they said, you got to help me out. And I just gave them royalty-free music, and they're very happy. I mean, it's pumping. It sounds great. You get to hear the voice, because most of the royalty-free stuff anyway that we have is without vocals, instrumentals. And you just get used to it. And you just got to know that if you're going to come live in person, we're going to play the real thing. And if it's on video, we're not. Mm-hmm. I mean.
So you've been doing this and have got a lot of experience in this space. Yeah. So when you put together, how much knowledge, I guess, have you gained? And like when a bar instructor comes to you, we got an investment in Extend Bar, and somebody says, hey, I'm doing a bar, or I'm doing a boot camp, or I'm doing a running class. What's some of what happens in the background, that hey, this is, am I looking at it like beats per minute? I do some DJing too. I call it pro bono because no one's ever paid me to do it.
For real?
I do some pro bono DJing basically for myself and my friends.
Cool. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I came up with, my DJ name is PTMO, PTMO.
For real?
But then I was gonna change my name to Harris Calvin, so they think that they're getting Calvin Harris. So I just flip it.
Harris Calvin.
And maybe I get like a $200,000 like booking fee, and I'll be like, dude, no, I'm the Harris Calvin, not Calvin Harris. Just an idea. Anyway, I'd probably get sued over that. My question for you is, are you looking at it beats per minute?
No problem.
Yeah, are you looking at it from I've gotten rave reviews on this playlist over the years based on this genre, based on this workout, based on where it is. You just give us a little
of course.
Without telling us the secret sauce. Like, we don't want that.
No, that's okay. Beats per minute for sure is what it's all about when it comes to music. And that's the other thing I didn't mention about our app. The cool thing about our app is that they can change the tempo of the song. So if you have a lot of instructors like that, because when there's somebody in the class, maybe the class isn't really up to, either they're too advanced or not as advanced, they'll slow down the tempo or move it up. So beats per minute is how many beats the song has in a minute, as you know, since you're a DJ. Pete Mo.
PTMO.
And PTMO.
I'll send you a link.
Harris Calvin, yeah.
Thank you.
So beats per minute's really important. Also, what we like to do with our royalty-free music, we like to blend it so that it's nonstop, which is nice. It keeps the beat without having that pause in between. Of course, if it's a soul cycle class, then you like the pause, but maybe not. So, there's an energy, there's genre, there's style, there's, we've been doing this, like you said, a long time, since 1988, and we kind of know by now, almost, we kind of know in general, this kind of music typically goes for this kind of activity, this kind of music goes for this. And then, of course, the beats per minute drives every decision for a fitness professional.
Gotcha. So Tiesto, who I'm assuming you know, is an investor in 305 Fitness, which is a boutique dance studio.
I was wondering how they got Tiesto. I was wondering.
Yeah. Thank you. So I guess the question is, like, I'm trying to change people's view on who they are as a health club operator. If I'm a health club operator and I am in New Jersey, and we've got a client, Jersey Strong, they are the authority on fitness, exercise, and technically also they should be on nutrition. So if they're the authority, should they do a partnership with Bon Jovi, or do a partnership with Bruce Springsteen, or do a partnership with Stephen Aoki, or, Aoki, or whatever his name is, or Tiesto, or somebody? Like, have you thought about the convergence of music, entertainment, health clubs, and saying, like, hey, our playlist is curated by Snoop Dogg? I mean, pick somebody.
First of all, I'm from New York, so I definitely understand why you said Bon Jovi with New Jersey. Because, if you're from New Jersey, you love Bon Jovi. And Bruce Springsteen. No, Bruce Springsteen's Philly. Never mind. Anyway, I'm glad you asked that, because we are at a place right now, and I can't reveal too much, but we are within July, August, we're going to be updating our app. We're going to be releasing a game-changing app. I hate that word, game-changing, but I had to throw it in.
I like it.
But we've done some deals with, and this was actually happening pre-COVID. We did some deals with some music industry people, let's just say. We're aligning with some new financial partners to support the growth. We're growing really fast with this new app that's coming out. And it kind of falls along the lines of what you're saying. So maybe send them to us, because we'd love to talk to them. I don't know what kind of, I would love that. I don't know what kind of deal 305 did with Tiesto. I guess maybe, he's producing special music.
I think he's just an investor, but I'm sure they're using him to some marketing component or some playlist. Yeah. But I think that the future, I think the future of health clubs and studios are going to need to be one very instructor centric. Just, think of the Soul Cycle instructor in the future as like the Ariana Grande is like a live concert going on. And I feel like if we can figure out a way to infuse, either partner up an instructor with an artist, or kind of try and curate something that's together, that would be almost like a hook, similar to like going to a concert.
You're like reading my mind. I swear to God, Pete. You have no. I'll talk to you.
That's why I was zooming.
Doing.
No, let's just keep it. Let's keep it live. Like, this is all about like what's going on. What's going on really in the Halo sector. No side conversation.
Seriously. That is the way. when I was, it's really funny because I've been doing this since 1988 and I was 3 years old. Just kidding. I was making calls to those record labels and they were like, what do you want to do? Click,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, nowadays, I've always felt that the record labels have never taken the fitness industry serious enough.
Agreed.
Peloton, I think, is a shot in the face, like what? Just, they sue them, but didn't they know that this Peloton, this is great business for these artists. Look, I'm 50 plus. When do I listen to music? I don't go to clubs anymore. If my daughter didn't play this stuff, I wouldn't know half of it. So, mothers, fathers, people, at 40 plus, they're not listening to music, but you go to your gym and you hear songs. So those two industries have to converge. I totally agree with you. We're on the same.
What would be, I haven't been to Vegas in a while. It's actually been a self-ban that I put on myself, not going to Vegas. That's for another podcast late at night.
That's for another.
However, when you go and roll down the strip, because I've seen pictures, each hotel has got a sign up for their nightclub, and it's like Tiesto or like Budokan or like all these DJs who are basically working off of you and I and Gannon know they're working off of a flash drive, right? And they're hitting the foghorn like 17 times and like sweating and then drinking some Gatorade and then doing whatever they do.
And then that's it. Yeah.
So one of the ideas, what we're trying to get everyone to think outside the box and say, okay, we're in COVID. I got to bring people back. What is going to be something that will bring someone back indoors, inside of my club or inside of my studio? And maybe having an actual DJ come in that's got a name or maybe a local name, or just maybe you could go and do a deal with one of the top 50, DJs. I'm available. You're available. And you could say like music curated by so-and-so, and that might be like something that differentiates you in your community, and then you get all the playlists from you curating it in the background.
I've been in those DJ, you've been in those classes, right? Where a live DJ's there. People love that. They totally love that. I agree with you on that for sure. We're going to be doing something similar down the line. You'll just keep an eye on us.
All right. So exciting. So in closing here, I've got 2 questions for you.
Yes, please.
Question number 1 is, what is your favorite? Who's your favorite musical artist?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Madonna, hands down. That's easy.
Love her, adore her. Second is, do you have any quotes? There you go, Vogue. Yeah. We'll do that on your caricature.
Yeah, I'll do that on my caricature.
Have her do a Vogue. Tell Mark we need Cartoon Boy. We need that.
That's right.
And then the second question is, any quotes that you live by, whether that's a song quote, whether that's a life quote, business quote, pepper us up.
Well, probably a quote. People have described me as a person that no means yes to me. So if I hear no, it means yeah. It's really hard for me to hear no if I really want something. So I think that's probably a good advice for people. Don't always, stop when you first hear your first no. That may not be as spiritual as maybe you were looking for, but in business, it's come in handy for me.
Yeah, no, persistence, I guess, is persistence and perseverance is. Somebody said that to me actually recently. We got engaged by a health club operator to get some capital, and we had sold him some clubs 6 years ago. And when he called me back, he sent me a text message that he kept that I said no to him buying some clubs, and then he ended up buying them. So he's like, I guess everything starts with a no, and then it turns into a yes. So, all right, well, great. So we're going to put up some information on how to access and Muscle Mix's music and then contact you directly. Appreciate what you're doing. Let's do big things, because it sounds like everything's starting to actually align to actually have these big things start to really happen.
For sure. And we have an infographic. I don't know if that's something you'd like to share with your people that says, if you're using music for this, here's what you should do. It's kind of a licensing information.
That would be amazing.
That as well.
Yeah, we'll
send the link for sure. Yeah.
Is that royalty free?
I'll charge you later,
All right. Great to talk to you. Good to see you in person.
Nice talking to you guys.
All right. Pleasure. We'll have this up in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Stay in touch. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye.
Thanks, Denise. Bye-bye. Give a shout out to my good friends at lassogear.com, LASSOGEAR.com. I want to give you 20% off using the code Halo Talks on the best compression socks on the planet. I've been using them during the pandemic. My field goal kicking is further and stronger than it's ever been. Check out these socks. You'll love them. They got an L and an R to make it easy to put on each foot. Enjoy it. Trust me, you'll love them.